the sooner we start to realize that unconditional love is not a thing for most of us, and a lot of us will never quite feel that, the sooner we can stop breaking our own hearts. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's start with what is unconditional love. That means that regardless of what I do, what I say, how I behave, what I become, what I don't become, I will still receive the love of someone, no matter what. And the reason why I have such an issue with the theory of unconditional love is because nature doesn't really show us that, right? So for example, when it rains, it goes through filtration, then the grass gets it, then it goes back up in the form of condensation, then the clouds get it. So we're seeing a constant feedback loop. Something always needs something. The rain is not going to continue to pour down unless it comes back up, right? Like even if you want to talk biblically or religiously, and I'm no theologian, so take it with a grain of salt, but I believe that there's some things that we're supposed to be doing here on this earth to promise that we get a spot somewhere up in heaven. And if we don't, we're going down below, right? So it just lets me know, or it's always a reminder that we do need to be doing something in order to receive something. I can't just be. Even this earth at some point will no longer be existent if we continue to tear it up. It's not going to keep giving to us and giving us this fruits and vegetables and vegetation and this clean air. Well, not so clean, but it's not going to keep giving us those things if we don't take care of it. So what makes us think that we're exempt from that as humans who are very flawed, who are very egotistical, and who are very fragile? So for example, the woman or the man who wants their person to love them unconditionally sounds good. But the minute you stop, right, or the minute you stop being who they thought you were, even for a short time, you notice divorce goes up. A lot of times when a woman gets sick, if she gets cancer or she gets some sort of terminal illness, it's statistically proven that the man is likely to leave her during that time. What happened to unconditional love, right? And some women, when the man goes broke or certain issues are going on with him financially, mentally, she's out. There's not a lot of displays of what unconditional love looks like. There's one exception for me personally, and I believe it's children. And I think it's more of a selfish nature because our children are 50% us, right? So it's natural that you want your lineage to continue just because of the primitive nature of us all. We want to make sure we stay here. So even all this love and, oh my God, I love little Timmy so much. Little Timmy's so cute. Yeah, little Timmy's so cute, but he's also you. And that's half of the reason why you go crazy when little Timmy is not around or little Timmy doesn't answer his damn phone. Because that is you, and Timmy it's literally all on him for you to still be here when you go. So how egotistical is that if you really get into the nature of that? So that's why I think children can be loved unconditionally. Now, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think that we can learn as humans to really care for somebody and really just accept them as they are. But I think sometimes it's difficult to do that because we're also our own flawed beings who are dealing with our own selves. It's kind of difficult to deal with somebody who's having mental health issues, physical issues on a perpetual basis, and we're receiving nothing. That's when you start to see the love die, or you start to see the light go out in the wife's eyes or the husband's eyes because they're just completely a caregiver, or now they're just in a place where they're not receiving anything. Who is pouring into you, right? And you can't quite, I can understand that. I understand both sides. And me personally, like I was just telling my boyfriend, like I get it, the whole unconditional love thing, or the conditional love thing, but there's an aspect of me that does want to be loved unconditionally and wants to love unconditionally. So you guys let me know, do you think it's really possible, given everything that I just said, to love unconditionally? Like no matter what your man or woman does, you're going to stay there? Do you think that that's the crux of what keeps a marriage together? Because people in the comments might be like, well, back in the day, the marriages used to last. People were together 40, 50 years. And that's true, right? People used to last, they lasted longer. But now it's a little different because women have more rights, women have more freedom, men are becoming more feminized as a whole, right? Especially in the Western world that we live in. So we're not even seeing each other as necessary. And I kind of dove a little bit more deeply into that, which I don't agree with. I think the man and the woman are very necessary and we need each other. We need our men and we need our women. So go check that out if you're interested. But I think that that's kind of lost a bit, only because of the circumstances of it. Now that things are different, now it's like, oh, I don't need you, you don't need me, or I don't have to stay here and stand for this. I can find me a new man, or I don't have to stay here and stand for this. I can go to Brazil, I could go to Africa, I could go to the Caribbean and find me a sweet girl who will be submissive. But what happened to unconditional love though? What happened to that? I thought that stays regardless of what I become when you take your vows. So it just brings up the question in me, and I don't have the answers. It's just something I really ponder on. I think about this quite often. And I was like, so I needed to see what the people got to say. And also, this is the last point I'm going to bring up. Us being in such like an instant gratification kind of place in all of our lives, just because of how we're being socialized at this point. How do we have the stamina, right, to even give somebody the time enough to get it right? Sometimes it takes people years to get it right. Think about how long it took you to do some shit that you knew that you should have already done years ago. Think about how many years it took. You probably still ain't did it, right? Because I know there's a lot of stuff that I told myself I would do or I'd have done by now and this and that, and it's not done. So, and then on top of that, like, you beat yourself up about it, right? Like, there's also a fight that happens, an internal war. So you're going to tell me that you have the patience, not with yourself, but with somebody else, to stick around and remain in an unconditional space of love that you're giving them? So then my next question is like, then what the hell is really unconditional love, if that's what we're saying that we can have for each other? Or is it just like, do we need to stop using that word and talk more about what acceptance is, right? Because I can accept you. I can accept you for who you are and all that you're not and all your flaws. But that doesn't mean that you get a front row seat to my life, right? It's all about self-preservation. And humans are very selfish by nature. Like, we want to preserve ourselves. Like, if somebody came up in here, the first thing you might do if there's 10 people is protect yourself. You're not going to automatically go and try to, put yourself in harm's way and go attack the gunman. Maybe later, maybe when you, get your bearings, like, oh, like, I can be the hero. Okay, that's different. But immediately, self-preservation, that's just instinctual. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think this generation romanticizes a lot of things. And like, we want to be loved and we want our princess and our Prince Charming and all those things. But I think it kind of gets us out of touch with what the reality of things are. And it's okay not to have the first instinct be to get shot up by the damn mass shooter, right? So I don't know. Let me know down below what you guys think about unconditional love. Have you loved unconditionally? Do you think you could love unconditionally? And do you want to receive unconditional love? Or are you okay with the fact that you may not receive unconditional love and you may need to do some duties in order to receive and continue to get that person's love? So yeah, let me know down below. I am headed to the gym. It is Saturday, and just real quick side note, this week has been a lot. As you guys see, I'm trying to get better with my thumbnails. That took me like 40 days and nights. All right, so those last 2 thumbnails, I need you guys to really go and like those videos up, comment, and appreciate that, because I put a lot of work and effort. So I think I've been feeling a little burnt out, and I went to the gym only 3 times this week. So it's Saturday, so I got to get it in. I was going to go to hot yoga this morning, but I just got my lashes done, and I'll be damned if I'm sitting in a 95-degree room with the humidity pumping and think I'm going to walk out of there with lashes on still. So that got canceled, okay, and I'm headed to the gym. So let me know what you guys think about the video, as per usual, and I'll see you guys next time.